Good morning, candidates. This is for Federal Bank Fcce program. What is compliance? Compliance is the process of following or complying with all applicable laws, regulations, rules, and standards that apply to the company. In our case, refers to banking company. Compliance is ensured through design, development, and implementation of policies, processes, and procedures. The management develops such policies and processes and procedures under the supervision of board of directors. The aim is to ensure that all applicable laws, rules, regulations, and standards are complied with in letter and spirit by all the employees. Say laws, rules, standards, policies, requirements, regulations, governance, transparency, everything must be complied with by the banking institution. Market regulations compliance is a zero tolerance area as a whole because the principles relate to fair dealing with clients and maintaining transparency in the financial markets. Compliance will help retain the client's trust and economy's growth. Market regulations such as Securities and Exchange Commission. In the case of India, it is Securities Exchange Board of India. Regulations impose penalties due to non-compliance with various requirements, such as insider trading practices, unfair dealing with customers, gaining personal benefits by employees, investments in restricted securities or shares, and investments in banned jurisdictions, etc. The relevant regulations regulate all organizations, companies, or businesses, and they must identify and comply with the applicable regulatory requirements issued and enforced by the regulators. The companies and businesses have attracted great attention from the regulators due to various factors, including global financial crisis, frauds, customer complaints, technological advancements, etc. Many companies have faced significant decline in market performance, and various have been levied massive penalties for non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations. The regulatory environment is undergoing a major shift towards compliance task and its proactive management, wherein more quality resources are being required to be deployed by the companies, businesses, and organizations. The penalties imposed by the regulators may vary, and the relevant government bodies or agencies may revise them. Therefore, the penalties may not be mentioned explicitly for future periods, which are subject to change by the authorities. Candidates, this is as available in America. More or less similar procedures will be applicable in India also. The management of compliance risk is the employee's first and foremost responsibility. However, primary responsibility of establishing and implementing effective compliance culture rests with the company's board of directors. They ensure that a comprehensive compliance program concerning applicable regulatory requirements is developed to ensure that all applicable corporate compliance related regulatory requirements are complied with in letter and spirit. The management prepares and implements their employees' compliance policies, processes, and systems for regulatory compliance. Employees are not permitted to work against the board and management's approved policies, rules, and processes to avoid regulatory breaches of non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations. The compliance officer is appointed to ensure that all applicable laws and regulations are identified, understood, and complied with by the employees to ensure compliance. Compliance is in business or in a company like banking generally refers to following government laws, health and safety standards, or data and security requirements. It is an action if the rules and policies are consciously recognized. Compliance becomes a necessary action when it is deemed necessary for the survival of a business or company. The main goal of compliance is straightforward: to identify and avoid potential red flags in your businesses. Again, failure to comply seriously may result in future costly fines or penalties. Effective business rules assist in setting expectations and providing guidelines on for how work will be completed. Business rules must also be used to ensure that an organization complies with local, state, and federal regulatory requirements and guidelines, or they may address project governance. Knowing the rules. You must first know the rules. Yeah. And in the case of our country, namely India, what is more important is Banking Regulation Act, RBI Act, Companies Act, and almost all the acts that are relevant. So you must be in a position to know about all the factors regarding that. And some of the words that are given important for compliance are given as anti-bribery and corruption, anti-money laundering, counter-terrorist financing, counter-wildlife trafficking, crypto asset compliance, forensics and investigations, fraud risk management, internal audit, internal controls, know your customer, markets compliance, risk management, sanctions compliance. So these are the things. So candidates, I have just given a brief idea about this. I am giving the link of this say URL in the comments column of the video. I request you to go through that and try to learn more about it, and maybe in the class we will discuss. Thank you so much. Best wishes.